All right, let's talk about something fascinating today. How to make a man think about you non-stop. Now, before we get into it, let's get one thing straight. We're not talking about manipulation or mind games. Nope. What we're diving into today is backed by psychology. Real, proven techniques that naturally make you unforgettable in someone's mind. So if there's a certain someone you want thinking about you all day, every day, whether it's a crush, a partner, or even someone you're just starting to get to know, you're in the right place. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to make a lasting impression that keeps him hooked. Now, let's start with something really interesting. Why do we think about certain people more than others? Ever noticed how some people just linger in your mind? Sometimes it's because of attraction, other times it's because of an emotional trigger. But the real reason? Psychological imprinting. When someone triggers an emotional response in us, whether it's excitement, curiosity, even a little mystery, our brain naturally stores that person in our thoughts. And that's exactly what we're going to tap into. So, let's break this down. You want him to think about you non-stop. The first thing you need to understand is scarcity versus availability. Ever heard the phrase, "you want what you can't have"? It's real. When something is too available, we take it for granted. But when something or someone has a little mystery, a little unpredictability, it triggers curiosity. Now, this doesn't mean playing hard to get in an obvious way. That's outdated. Instead, you want to create a balance. Be present, be engaging, but don't be too predictable. You want to be the person who leaves an impact in a conversation, who makes him wonder, what's she thinking? What's she up to? That curiosity, that's what makes someone obsessed. See, when we don't have all the answers, our brains naturally fill in the gaps. And guess what? That's how thoughts turn into obsession. But let's take it a step further. Emotional connection. Now, this is powerful. People don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. If you want a man thinking about you non-stop, you need to create moments that trigger emotion, whether it's excitement, joy, or even a little bit of challenge. Let me give you a psychological trick that works every time. It's called intermittent reinforcement. Basically, instead of always being predictable, you mix things up. You respond to his texts, but not immediately. You show interest, but also leave him wanting more. You share personal things, but not everything at once. That contrast, it keeps his brain hooked. Think about it. Why do people get addicted to certain things? It's because of the uncertainty of the reward. It's why people keep checking their phones for messages. The moment. You create that kind of intrigue. You become the thought he can't shake. Now let's talk about sensory triggers. This is another powerful tool. Have you ever smelled a certain perfume and instantly thought of someone? That's because scents, sounds, even small habits, like the way someone laughs, get stored in our brains. So if you want to make a man think about you, create a signature, something he subconsciously associates with you. It could be a phrase you always say, a scent you always wear, even a song that reminds him of you. Over time, his brain connects those things to you, and suddenly, you're on his mind all the time. Crazy, right? But it works. Now, let's get into something a little spicier. The power of mystery and intrigue. See, most people think the way to win someone over is by giving them everything up front. But the truth, we're wired to chase what feels just out of reach. When you keep a little mystery, when you don't reveal everything about yourself right away, it makes people want to know more. And the more someone wants to know, the more they think about you. So instead of telling him everything about your life in one conversation, drop little hints, let him wonder about you, let him ask questions. That's how you stay in his mind. See that? That's curiosity, and curiosity is powerful. Now, before we wrap up, let me leave you with a game changer. The power of mirroring. This is a classic psychology trick that instantly builds connection. When you subtly mirror someone's tone, energy, even body language, it creates an unconscious bond. People feel drawn to those who feel familiar. So, when you're talking to him, pay attention to his energy. If he's excited, match that excitement. If he's calm, mirror that calmness. It makes people feel understood, and that feeling. That's what makes someone miss you when you're not around. And there you have it. The psychology-backed secrets to making a man think about you non-stop. It's not about tricks, it's about understanding human nature. Create emotional impact, spark curiosity, leave a little mystery, and I promise, you'll be the person he can't stop thinking about. Ever notice how some people leave an impact long after a conversation ends? There's a reason for that. Our brains naturally hold on to people who trigger an emotional response. And that's the key, emotion. When someone makes us feel something, whether it's excitement, curiosity, or even a little bit of frustration, it creates a mental bookmark. Our brain keeps replaying that moment, which makes us think about that person again and again. So, how do you do that? You create moments that stand out, and I'm not talking about big dramatic gestures. Nope. Sometimes the most unforgettable things are the smallest details. The power of unpredictability. Let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes people make when they like someone, being too predictable. When a person always knows exactly what to expect, their brain stops paying attention. It's like background noise. It blends in. But when something or someone is unpredictable, that's when the brain locks in. Here's what I mean. If you always reply instantly to messages, always say yes to plans, always agree with everything he says, guess what? You become expected. But when you mix things up, when you add a little mystery, a little unpredictability, suddenly he's thinking about you. Instead of responding immediately to his text, wait a little bit. Let him wonder what you're doing. Instead of always saying yes to plans, throw in a "let me check my schedule" or "I might be busy, but I'll let you know." See what's happening? You're creating scarcity, and psychology tells us that we want what isn't always available. Emotional triggers, the secret to staying on his mind. Here's something crazy. Our brains don't remember facts, they remember feelings. If you want to be unforgettable, you need to create an emotional impact. So how do you do that? By triggering strong emotions, excitement, joy, even curiosity. And the best way to do this? Contrast. Think about movies. If a movie is all action, with no slow moments, it feels exhausting. But if it has highs and lows, it keeps us hooked. That's exactly how conversations work. Be playful, then be serious. One moment, tease him a little. The next, share something deep and personal. That emotional shift makes you unforgettable. Give a compliment, then challenge him. Say, "I love the way you think, but I have to disagree with you on this one." That kind of contrast makes him want to keep talking to you. And guess what? The more he's engaged emotionally, the more he thinks about you afterward. The signature effect. Create a mental anchor. Want to know a little trick that makes people obsessed? Create a signature. This is something small that a man will subconsciously link to you. So every time he sees or hears it, he thinks of you, a certain perfume or scent. If you always wear a specific fragrance, his brain will start associating that smell with you. A phrase you always say. Maybe it's a funny catchphrase or a unique way of saying goodbye. Over time, he'll hear your voice in his head. A song. If you mention a song and say, "This reminds me of you," guess what? Every time he hears it, you're in his mind. The push-pull effect. Keep him wanting more now. Let's get into something powerful, the push-pull effect. This is all about giving attention and then pulling back just enough to create desire. Psychologically, we crave what we almost have. If something is too easy, we lose interest. But if something feels within reach but not completely secure, our brain fixates on it. Here's how you do it. Have deep, engaging conversations, but don't always be available. Be affectionate and warm, but sometimes tease him or pull back a little. Make eye contact, but occasionally look away first. That little bit of distance makes the brain obsess. Final secret, the law of association. Last but not least, let's talk about associative memory. This is one of the biggest hacks to make someone think about you. Constantly, our brains link people to emotions. So if you create fun, exciting, happy experiences together, his brain automatically connects you with those feelings. Want him to think about you non-stop? Make sure the moments you share are filled with laughter, adventure, and deep connection. The more positive emotions he associates with you, the harder it will be to stop thinking about you. Closing thoughts. How to stay on his mind. Forever, all right. Let's recap real quick. The key to making a man think about you non-stop is creating emotional impact. Make him feel something. Using mystery and unpredictability, don't be too available. Establishing sensory triggers, give him something to associate with you. Using push-pull dynamics, keep him intrigued. Building positive, emotional associations, make sure he loves how he feels around you. And remember, this isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding psychology and using it to your advantage in an authentic, natural way. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know in the comments, what's the one thing you do that makes people think about you long after you're gone? I'll see you in the next video.